Tesla's robotaxi event is tomorrow, and I do take it a little bit kind of weird that they moved it to Sunday from Thursday because now the stock can't be traded during the event. I think this is going to be pretty huge. I've explained to you guys that Tesla pretty much is the king of the hill when it comes to autonomous driving. Granted, Google is the king when it comes to quantum and AI, as well as Microsoft, but when it comes to autonomous driving, I don't think Waymo long-term is going to be able to compete with Tesla. Remember, the one biggest and most fundamental key, in fact, to autonomous driving is data. And Tesla's really not a car company. I mean, they are, but essentially they're an autonomous driving hub and data acquisition hub masquerading as a car company. So you have to understand it's been well over a decade, far more than a decade, that Tesla's been collecting data on their drivers via cameras and sensors on the vehicle. When you think about this, the amount of data that Tesla has is going to be far superior to anyone else when it comes to autonomous driving. Before we take a listen to what Dan Ives has to say, I have officially launched my ebook. The link is in the information box below. It's taken me years to put together the time to make this ebook. And if you want to learn some of the methods to my madness and my strategies and understand a little bit of a sneak peek into my mind on how I trade, you definitely want to grab this book, as it's going to go over strategies that are very powerful and show you exactly what it is that I'm doing in the market, and it costs just a couple of cups of coffee, basically. You can grab that book in the information box below. The link is there. Very limited time, less than a week left, and when the week is up, the book's gone forever. I'll never be selling it again. It's a one-time only deal. So like I said, the link's in the information box below. Let's take a listen to Dan Ives.
Key for Tesla's growth, justify the multiple. Joining us now is Dan Ives, Wedbush Global Head of Technology Research. Dan, happy Friday.
Great to be here.
So Alphabet's Waymo is way ahead of Tesla on autonomous execution. So how much better does Tesla have to be? You have to believe its model is to believe it's $1 trillion opportunity for Tesla alone.
Yeah, look, Waymo clearly, the big head start, but 4 cities, $230,000 cars, right? I mean, my view is the golden age of autonomous starts on Sunday in Austin for Tesla, because it's the scale and scope. I mean, John, my view is like 25 or 30 cities in the next year. And as they start scaling cybercabs and get to true level 4, I believe it's a $1 trillion opportunity valuation for Tesla. And I think this is actually the start of their biggest chapter of growth and actually valuation upside.
Don't they have to be?
And I do completely agree with that. This is the one thing that's been holding Tesla down. And I believe that Tesla is a $500 stock this year, but it needs to have some success, and it needs to be a banger of an autonomous driving / robotaxi event tomorrow. You see, the only reason why the price on Tesla isn't 500 right now is because of the sentiment, because of the past failed events. So it's not that Tesla would have to run to $500 from $330 and make like a 40% jump. It was already in the mid to high 400s. So it just needs to go back to where it is and then slightly higher, which will happen when robotaxi is a success. This is the issue. The sentiment on Tesla, with all of the robotaxi failed events, with the government investigations with robotaxi on top of that. We also have the earnings that were a little bit rough. Elon Musk working for Doge in the president's office all the time, talking with the president, involving himself politically. There's also Elon Musk involving himself with the president and Doge. And then, of course, there was all of the protests against Elon. A lot of these things have kind of beat Tesla up, but tomorrow could be a pretty pivotal moment.
It'd be almost perfect to get to 25 to 30 cities within a year, have that kind of scale. And so how do you factor risk into this model too? I mean, to ramp this, Tesla has to first put its own vehicles on the street, but it also wants Tesla owners to offer up their cars as well. Do they need that to achieve the profitability that makes them worth $1 trillion?
It's a great question. I don't think that they need that. I mean, to me, it's really, when I view cybercabs and where I see this all going, I mean, I think ultimately 20% of the transportation industry, in my view, will be autonomous when we look out the next 6, 7, 10 years. I think Tesla, it starts off with, when you look at what's happening with cybercabs, but ultimately other automakers, they're going to have to OEM that technology from Tesla. So my view is that this is the start. When you think about AI and you think about true AI and really what the golden goose is going to be, autonomous, Tesla, I believe, is going to lead this market handily. And ultimately, it all starts on Sunday with the launch in Austin. But I think it's step by step. They're going to show that they could get true level 4. And I think we're going to look back. Sunday, I think, is a historical moment for Tesla.
Is there room for everyone, though? I mean, we're talking about Tesla looking to Sunday, Waymo, which is obviously deploying in cities and continues to grow its licenses. New York City, for example, earlier this week. You've got the dark horse in all of this, too, which is the Amazon-backed Zoox autonomous fleet that's being built out, too. If you're only talking about potentially 20% of vehicles in the U.S. becoming autonomous in coming years, is there room for everyone?
Look, I think there's room for others, and you're going to have a convergence in terms of transportation tech, just like you talked about. Waymo will clearly be a player. Uber, obviously they'll partner more and more. But I think, look, when it comes to true scale and scope, I don't think anyone matches Tesla. And that's sort of our view, is that where this is going. I mean, you talk about a company when you think about 2 million, 1.72 million vehicles per year. Cyber cabs, ultimately, this is something that you'll beat 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. And I think that's really true AI. That's why I believe Tesla is the most undervalued AI play in the market today. I don't think the market is valuing this piece.
I do want to get your thoughts on IBM, because you put out a new note on that. You've raised the price target to, what, $325 per share. This is already trading at record highs. It's up 18% in the past 2 months. It's the other AI play, / quantum play, / why do you continue to be so bullish here now at these levels?
Yeah, I mean, the Mojo and Armonk, right? I mean, my view when it comes to IBM is that this is just the beginning. It's a page out of Microsoft's playbook. And I mean, the $100, $200 move, no one believed, $200, $300. I believe this could be a $400 or $500 stock, because it's about the install base, not even just the quantum piece, monetization on AI. And all of our checks, which is why we raised our price target, showing the adoption is continuing to increase. I think what Arvind's done at IBM, it's really the magic. He has been the key to what we're really now seeing, a renaissance of growth in Armonk from IBM.
So you heard what Dan Ives said, and it really is not going to be that far-fetched to take a $1 trillion company to $2 trillion with $1 trillion in AI and autonomous driving, which is 2x. So Tesla essentially in the next year or two could reach 600 plus. I think that 450 to 500 this summer or this year is very doable, and it all relies on the robotaxi event tomorrow. Not entirely, but at least majority, because people want to see some progress in robotaxi and autonomous driving. We also have the robots later on down the road, which are 3 to 5 years or more, which are really going to help out Tesla, along with the autonomous driving and their vehicles, if they can become more profitable and increase revenue there. However, when you really look at Tesla overall, there is a lot of price baked into Tesla for the robotaxi. In fact, if we take robotaxi and autonomous driving out, the stock is probably worth like $250. Might actually be worth a little bit less, in my opinion. Robotaxi and AI and data acquisition, all this other part of Tesla makes it much more valuable, a lot more valuable. And investors have baked this price in partially, which is why it's been going down. You look all the way back to December of 24, 486, it was already $500. This tells you before the issues with the robotaxi event and him joining Doge and working for the government, it was at 485. So this stock is essentially just going to go back to where it already was if robotaxi is a success in the coming months or by the end of this year. It could even potentially happen even sooner. The robotaxi event is going to be 7 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern time, which means the overnight hours market will be open. Tesla is likely to fly, but I would be very weary about chasing those candlesticks and chasing that price, because if the event is a flop, you could lose money. So investing in Tesla is a lot safer than trying to trade it. An intranight trade on Tesla would not be recommended. Just telling you guys that right now, if robotaxi is a success, the stock will go back to where it was pretty close over time. And by the end of the year, I would think that $500 would be very doable. We can see that up here, there's a lot of selling, and this is due to the robotaxi. You can see big, strong sell-off right here. So I'm going to show you guys one of my little strategies right quick, which is supply zone. And we go to the daily chart I'm just going to confirm this on the daily chart, and it does line up with the daily. So we'll go back to 1 hour. There we go. So this would be the supply zone, which is a zone where there's a lot of people ready to supply you with shares and sell the stock. And so this right here would be your supply zone. Okay. And when you look at this, actually, let me fix this border. There we go. Much better. There we go. So as you can see, this is the supply zone for Tesla. So every time the stock has come anywhere near right here and right here, just every time it comes up, it's selling off. There's a lot of people in this area selling it up here. There's a lot of investors that are going to sell. But if Robotaxi is a success, well, then the stock is going to go up a lot. And when this happens, anyone who's holding the stock, as it's going up, they're going to buy more. A lot of these investors are going to buy more. So when the stock comes up, yes, some are going to be selling. There's a lot of resistance up here. But the better the event and the better Tesla is doing, then the stock goes through and breaks through this price. Anything over 440 is going to be very tough to break. But it's possible by the end of this year, the Tesla could be in the high fours, closer to 5. It's very possible. Me personally, realistically, I see 380 to 400 quite easily in the overnight hours tomorrow or Monday early this week if Robotaxi is a slam success. And if they continue that with good earnings going to the rest of the year and Robotaxi continues to be a success and they launch and they're on, track to do exactly what they say, then by the end of the year, I think that up here in the 435 to 450 is very feasible. Everybody is expecting that Robotaxi is going to be good. So they're expecting a price up here and they're expecting Robotaxi to be good. But if Robotaxi is good, but then later on this year, there's a lawsuit or something's going wrong or they don't get a government approval in a city or things slow down or they miss earnings or both, or Elon says something crazy, then the stock starts to come back down again. So Tesla investors that, let's say, pick up the stock at this price right here, it isn't really going to matter what happens in between, because if the stock ends up here at 550 in 2027, there's going to be a lot of volatility in between. Stock could drop all the way down here and eventually run up here on success of the Robotaxi event that may happen in the future. So if you're really looking to invest in Tesla long term, all of this in here is noise and doesn't matter if you're getting in here and getting out here. So it's critical to understand that there's a lot of expectations on the table for Tesla, a lot of expectations. And that's what's really driving Tesla and the price to come down and back up, volatility. And that is what investors are really looking to, is the Robotaxi event. And they need some type of confluence that the company is going to do well with Robotaxi. And there's been a lot of hurdles along the way, but the critical component is time. Successful investments is time plus good stocks, allowing your investments to grow. There's also expectations and psychology, which is very important, because if you're expecting certain things on a company and they don't happen, then the sentiment becomes sour, which causes a sell-off or causes stagnation or a lot of headwinds in a company. And we noticed this on Tesla previously. And this is what I teach my students and what I have outlined in my ebook. So if you want to open the pages to my methods of madness and understand some strategies and how I trade, I've officially launched my ebook. The link's in the information box below. It's the cost of a couple of cups of coffee, maybe 2 or 3 cups of coffee, but it's definitely worth it and a good book. Very limited time. In a week from now, this book will be gone and it's never coming back. It's a one-time deal. So check it out. Links in the information box below. It's what I'm teaching my students, and it's very important to understand how to make money in the market. Tesla very well could be a $500 stock, but the issue is investor sentiment on Tesla is not good, strong enough to overcome all of the selling and all of the bears and all of the disbelief and all of the disappointments from the previous earnings and from the previous Robotaxi events that were failures. There is a lot going on with this stock, and it's all about delivery. It's all about expectations. If Tesla delivers on Robotaxi tomorrow, then it's the start of a new beginning for Tesla, and the stock will go up, and it'll be a very interesting and bullish week for Tesla. And as long as earnings times. After that, July 29th is good, and we get our rate cuts this summer like we should. Geopolitical issues, like I said, are tame and get better and improve. Tariffs get locked in, and everything goes well this summer. Tesla is likely, very likely to fly. And I don't see it being out of the realm of possibility that in the coming 3 to 6 months that Tesla could be working its way mid fours or even high fours going towards $500. In fact, I think it's very possible we could see Tesla by the end of the year going through next year or this time next year well into $600 as long as robotaxi and earnings are good and everything else geopolitically and tariff-wise are good with the administration. It's kind of the whole picture here on Tesla. I hope to see you guys in the Discord real soon. Grab my ebook. It's in the information box below. Very limited time. Lots of strategies there. You guys will love it. And I will see you on the next video or upload or the Discord real soon. Take care of yourselves, fam, and enjoy your weekend.